The galaxy had been quiet for many cycles. Too quiet for the patrol ships moving along the outer border. This space was known as empty space with no stars, no trade routes, no life. The galactic charts marked it as safe and useless. Commander Relka watched the dark view screen. Nothing moved, not even dust. Her crew felt uneasy, but they did not know why. Their sensors showed strange shadows like space was breathing. Then the silence broke. A junior officer spoke with fear in his voice. Sensors are failing one by one. No signal, no data, no logic. Relka ordered the ship to slow down. Every system felt heavy, like time itself was dragging. The stars around them bent and faded. Then something appeared. At first it looked like a shadow, a massive shape darker than space. So large it blocked the faint glow of distant stars. The crew stared in shock. This was not a planet. This was not a moon. It was a ship, ancient and massive. Its armor looked broken and scarred. Deep lines ran across its hull, glowing with faint red light, like old wounds that never healed. The ship was sleeping. Relka felt fear deeper than anything she had known. The record spoke of old wars. Wars before the galactic throne. Wars where humans fought and vanished. Humans were a myth now. A dead race. A forgotten danger. The sensors suddenly screamed back to life. Data flooded the screen and froze. The system could not process what it saw. Size unknown. Power unknown. Age impossible. Then the ship moved. Slowly. Calmly. As if it had all the time in the universe. Space around it rippled. Light bent. Sound vanished. The patrol ship shook. Crew members held their seats. Some whispered prayers to forgotten gods. A red glow spread across the ancient hull. Symbols appeared carved deep into the metal. Human symbols. Relka understood the truth too late. This ship was not lost. It was hiding. A signal spread across all channels. Every frequency, every language, every throne world. The message was simple, cold, and clear. We are awake. Across the galaxy, alarms began to scream. Ancient archives unlocked themselves. Forbidden records surfaced. Truth long buried returned. The galactic thrones felt fear for the first time. Fear of a past they tried to erase. The ancient human warship finished decloaking, fully revealed like a dark god in the void. And the galaxy knew. Regret had already begun. The message reached the galactic throne worlds like a blade sliding into the heart. We are awake. Two words that felt heavier than war. On the crown station of Almora, the high throne council froze in silence. The hall was built from shining crystal and gold. It was made to show power, but now it felt small and weak. Archon Selvar sat on the highest seat. His hands were calm, but his eyes were not. He looked at the floating screen, showing the ancient warship, a dark shape near a blue planet, red lines glowing like sleeping fire. A minister spoke in a shaking voice. This cannot be real. Humans are extinct. Selvar did not answer. He stared at the ship and remembered old stories. Stories that were banned. Stories that spoke of terran fleets that burned suns. Stories that spoke of humans who fought like storms. Another minister stepped forward. We should destroy it before it wakes fully. A general laughed to hide his fear. With what our outer fleets cannot even scan it. Selvar finally spoke. Send every throne fleet. Bring the ship to me. If it is ancient, then it is valuable. If it is human, then it is dangerous. Either way, it belongs to the throne. Across the galaxy, the order spread. War engines that had slept for years turned on. Hangars opened. Ships lifted into space. Many captains felt proud again because they believed numbers meant victory. But fear followed them like a shadow. Near the blue planet, Commander Relka watched the warship from a safe distance. Her patrol ship had moved back, but not far enough to breathe easy. The ancient dreadnought stayed still, silent, watching. Her crew spoke in whispers, like loud voices might wake him more. One officer tried to send a friendly signal, a simple greeting, a request for peace. But the signal vanished before it touched the ship, as if space swallowed it. Then the first throne fleet arrived. It came like a wave of metal. Hundreds of cruisers. Dozens of heavy carriers. and 3 golden throne flagships leading the line. Their formation filled the stars. Their weapons charged bright and proud. Their commanders spoke on open channels with strong voices. This unknown vessel, you are surrounded. Identify yourself and power down. The ancient ship did not reply. The throne fleet moved closer. Slowly, carefully, like hunters near a sleeping beast. Then a second fleet arrived. Then a third. Different empires, different colors, different banners. But all of them obeyed the same order. Capture the relic. Relka felt sick. The thrones were not here to talk. They were here to take. Inside the throne flagship, General Korv watched the dreadnought through the main glass window. He smiled. He wanted glory. He wanted a new trophy for his throne. He spoke to his officers. That ship is old, it is broken, it is alone. We will board it and take its core. Maybe we will learn its secrets. Maybe we will build more like it. His officers nodded, but none of them looked comfortable, because the dreadnought did not look weak. It looked patient. A science cruiser moved forward and launched scanning drones. Hundreds of small machines flew toward the hull, their lights blinking like insects. The moment they touched the red lines, the drones froze, then crumbled into dust. No explosion, no warning. They simply stopped existing. The science crew screamed. Their screens showed impossible numbers, gravity spikes, time distortion, and a field that should not exist. General Korv slammed his fist. Enough! Fire a warning shot. A battle cruiser lifted its forward cannon. A bright beam shot out and hit the space near the dreadnought, not even touching the hull. The beam vanished. It did not spread. It did not fade. It disappeared like it fell into a hole. The entire fleet went silent. For the first time, Korv stopped smiling. The dreadnought moved. One turret on its side turned. Slowly, smoothly, like a giant eye looking around. Then another turret turned. Then many more. Red lights began to wake across its body. Not random lights. Target lights. Every ship in the throne fleets received the same warning. Lock detected. Lock detected. Lock detected. Thousands of targeting alerts screamed at once. Captains shouted orders. Shields rose. Weapons charged. Fighters launched in panic. But the ancient ship did not fire. It just aimed and waited. Commander Relka felt cold inside, because she understood what the thrones did not. This was not a scared relic. This was a weapon that had been asleep for a long time. And now it was choosing what to do first. Then a new signal came, stronger than before, clearer and closer. A human voice, calm and deep. Leave. One word. Simple. Quiet. But it shook every throne captain, because it did not sound like a request. It sounded like the last chance before judgment. The word leave spread through the fleets like cold smoke. Captains looked at each other through open channels. Some laughed to keep courage alive. Some stayed silent because fear had already won inside them. General Korv stood on the command deck of the golden flagship. His hands were tight on the rail. His crew waited for his order like children waiting for the mood of a storm. He spoke with forced calm. It is only a trick. An old ship cannot command the galaxy. Hold position. Many captains obeyed, because the throne demanded obedience, because pride is stronger than wisdom in the hearts of rulers. Commander Relka watched from far behind the lines. She could see the huge, dark shape of a human dreadnought. It floated near the blue planet like a shadow god. Red scars on its hull pulsing slow, like a heart that had just remembered how to beat. The dreadnought did not move again. It did not speak again. It simply waited. A small group of warships moved closer. Their commanders wanted to prove bravery. They wanted to be the first to claim the relic. They formed a boarding squad and opened their hangars. Shuttle after shuttle launched. Armored teams filled with elite soldiers. They carried cutting tools, plasma, rifles, heavy shields. They believed they were entering a dead museum. Their leader was Captain Jessic of the Iron Throne, a warrior famous for never feeling fear. He spoke to his team. We take the core, we take the bridge, we take everything. This is our prize. His shuttle reached the side of the dreadnought. A broken bay door stood half open, like the ship was inviting them inside. The shuttles entered the darkness. Inside it was cold, not the cold of space, but the cold of a place that remembered death. Their helmet lights showed long halls of metal, thick cables like veins, walls scratched by old claws and old fires. Human letters carved deep into steel, symbols that looked like warnings and prayers. They walked slowly. Every step echoed. Their boots hit dust that should not exist in a sealed ship, dust from centuries of silence. Then their radios crackled. Their fleet signals became weak. Even their own squad channel sounded far away, as if the ship was eating their voices. Captain Jessic forced his breathing to stay calm. He touched the wall and felt it vibrate softly, like the ship was awake under his hand. One soldier whispered, "I feel like we are being watched." Jessic snapped at him. "Focus." They reached a large chamber, a place that looked like a command hall. Broken chairs, dark screens, and a tall frame at the center like a throne. But not a throne for comfort, a throne for war. On the floor they saw marks, old bloodstains, old armor pieces, bones of unknown creatures. Not human bones, something larger, something with too many joints. The soldiers froze. They understood the ship had not been empty. It had fought something inside itself. Long ago, suddenly the chamber lights turned on. Red. Every wall line, every cable, every panel glowed red. The floor symbols lit up like fire, and a deep sound moved through the metal. A slow, heavy pulse, like a giant drum in the dark. The doors behind them slammed shut. Their motion sensor screamed. Movement everywhere, but nothing could be seen. A cold voice spoke from the ceiling, not in their language, but their translators forced it into meaning. "Trespassers." Captain Jessic raised his weapon. "Show yourself." The voice replied, "You were warned." At the same moment outside the dreadnought, another change happened. The red glow on the hull brightened, and the gravity field around it expanded. Throne ships shook. Screens flickered. Some engines stalled for a second, as if a giant hand had touched them. General Korv shouted, "Fire now, full volley." Hundreds of beams and missiles launched, a storm of light and metal. They hit the space around the dreadnought and vanished. Every shot disappeared into that same impossible field. No impact, no explosion, only silence. The dreadnought finally answered with action. One small turret fired, not the largest weapon, not the main cannon, just a small side gun. A thin red pulse shot out. It touched a throne cruiser. The cruiser did not explode. It did not burn. It simply went dark. All lights off. All engines dead. All weapons silent. The ship drifted like a stone. Then another pulse. Another cruiser went dark. Then another. Like the dreadnought was turning off the fleet one ship at a time. Panic spread. Fighters tried to run, but their engines failed. Carriers lost control and collided. Captain screamed for order, but none came. Commander Relka watched in horror. This was not a battle. This was a lesson. Inside the dreadnought, Captain Jessic and his team felt the ship shake. They heard distant echoes like thunder far away. The dreadnought was firing outside, and still it had time to deal with them. The red lights in the chamber became brighter. The air turned heavy. Their suit meters showed rising pressure, but no leak, no fire. Just the ship changing reality around them. One soldier tried to cut the door open. His tool sparked, then died. Another tried to shoot the wall. The beam bent and hit the floor, like the ship was laughing. Captain Jessic realized the truth. This ship was not broken. It was hunting. He spoke into his radio to the fleet. "Abort mission, get us out now." But his message never reached anyone. The voice returned softer now, almost calm. "You came to take what is not yours. You came to repeat the same mistake. Now you will remember." Then the floor symbols opened like eyes, and a dark mist rose from the cracks. The soldiers stepped back shaking. They aimed their weapons at the mist. But the mist did not fear metal. It moved like living smoke, and within it something long and sharp started to form. Outside the dreadnought, the main core began to charge. A deep red glow grew at the center of the ship. A light so strong, it colored the blue planet in crimson. Every throne captain saw it. Every throne leader felt it. And for the first time in many ages, The galactic thrones understood. This was only the first warning, and the real punishment was still waking up. The red light from the human dreadnought grew brighter. It painted the fleets like blood across metal. It turned the blue planet below into a dark purple shadow. Even the stars looked afraid to shine. General Corv watched the core glow with wide eyes. His voice cracked as he shouted orders. All ships retreat now, pull back, pull back. But the fleets could not move. Engines roared and failed. Jump drives tried to open and collapsed. The space around the dreadnought felt thick like invisible chains. Captain screamed. Their crews ran between panels. Power cells burned out. Navigation screens showed false paths. Every system that trusted normal rules was breaking. Commander Relka held her seat as her patrol ship shook. She knew what was happening. The dreadnought was building a field, a net made from gravity and time, and it was closing around every thrown ship like a trap. Then the human voice returned. Not a shout, not an angry roar, just calm and cold. You did not listen. The voice echoed in every channel, in every language, even in the private mind links of the throne elites. Many commanders fell silent. They remembered ancient fears inside their blood, fears passed down through stories and warnings, stories the thrones tried to erase. On Crown Station of Almora, Archon Selvar stood in his golden hall. He watched the battle feed with trembling hands. The thrones around him argued. Some wanted to surrender. Some demanded full war. A minister shouted, "We must destroy the planet too. If that ship is human, then everything near it must die." Selvar turned slowly. His eyes were sharp. "You will not speak of that. Not yet." Deep inside, Selvar carried a secret, a truth his throne never shared. Humans were not defeated in war. Humans were betrayed. Long ago, the thrones feared the Terrans, not for their weapons, but for their will, for their refusal to kneel. So the thrones joined together and struck in the dark. They poisoned treaties. They attacked human homes. They erased records. And they made the galaxy believe humans vanished by weakness. Selvar whispered to himself, "No, you were never weak." Back near the blue planet, the dreadnought turned slightly. Its massive frame moved with slow power, like a giant waking and stretching after long sleep. Then something impossible happened. A line of light rose from the dreadnought into open space. Not a weapon beam, not an engine trail. It was like a wall of memory. A hologram expanded across the stars, so large it could be seen by every ship, and streamed across the galactic network without permission. The thrones tried to cut it. They tried to block it, but the signal forced its way through everything. The hologram showed an old system, a human system, green worlds, white clouds, cities shining along coasts, children running in sunlight, people laughing, simple life, peaceful life. Then the sky above those worlds turned dark. Alien fleets arrived, throne fleets, many banners, many crowns. The hologram showed humans rising to defend, fighters launching, dreadnoughts forming a shield line, human ships burning as they protected the planets. The scene changed to fire, cities falling, oceans boiling, human voices calling for help, and then silence. Many throne commanders stared at the hologram. Some shouted that it was a lie, but deep inside, they knew it was real, because their ancestors were there in the attack, and their blood remembered it even if their minds did not. General Corv whispered, "What is this? What is this?" The human voice answered him like it heard his thoughts. "This is the truth you buried." Then the hologram shifted again. It showed the same ancient dreadnought, but younger, clean, bright, surrounded by a Terran fleet. It showed humans inside, soldiers with tired faces, engineers bleeding from burns, a captain standing tall before a crew. The captain spoke, but no sound came. Only words translated across every screen. "We will not die in silence. We will sleep if we must. We will return when the galaxy forgets its lies." The hologram faded, and the dreadnought core glow became steady. Ready. Inside the dreadnought, the boarding team faced the dark mist. It wrapped around them, cold and heavy. Their weapons did nothing. Their lights dimmed. Their breaths became fast and loud. Captain Jessic tried to run, but the floor pulled at his boots like mud. The ship was holding him. The mist formed a shape. Tall, thin, with sharp arms like blades. A guardian made of smoke and memory. It did not scream. It did not roar. It simply moved. One soldier fired. The beam went through the mist and vanished. The guardian reached out and touched his chest. The soldier froze, then fell slowly, like his soul had left before his body followed. Captain Jessic felt panic rise. He shouted to his team, fall back, fall back. But the chamber doors opened by themselves, not to free them, to guide them deeper. The voice above spoke again. Come see what you made. The surviving soldiers were forced forward, their bodies moving though their minds fought. They walked through halls filled with broken human banners, through rooms where old Terran helmets sat like silent graves, through a corridor of glass where frozen alien corpses floated, creatures killed long ago by Terran hands. Outside the dreadnought, the thrown fleets tried one last attack. Missiles filled the sky, but the dreadnought field bent their paths, and the missiles turned back, crashing into their own ships. Explosions lit space. Panic became madness. Pride became screaming fear. Commander Relka watched a throne carrier break apart. Its crew lost. Its leaders gone. She felt sorrow even for enemies, because she knew the dreadnought was not enjoying this. It was correcting history. Then the dreadnought main cannon opened. A massive ring on its front split apart like a metal flower. Inside it, a red star burned. The human voice spoke one final time before firing. This is not revenge. This is consequence. The cannon released a silent wave. Not loud, not bright, but reality shook. The wave hit the center flagship of General Korv. The flagship did not explode. It did not burn. It stopped. Every system died. Every light faded. The ship turned into a dead shell, drifting in fear. The entire fleet saw it, and the galaxy felt the weight of regret grow heavier. And then a new signal appeared far beyond the battlefield. A Terran code. Old. Hidden. Awakening. More human ships were coming. The moment the Terran code appeared, every thrown fleet felt it. Not like a normal message, but like a deep vibration in space. A call that touched every sensor and every mind. Commander Relka stared at her screen. The signal was ancient. Old Terran frequency patterns. The kind that should not exist anymore. Her hands shook as she whispered. They were never gone. Across the battlefield, ruined ships drifted like broken bones. Some were dark and silent. Some still had weak lights blinking like dying stars. The proud throne armada had become a graveyard. And yet the human dreadnought was still holding back. It did not destroy everything. It only removed power. It only turned fleets into helpless pieces of metal. Archon Selvar watched from his crown station. His golden hall was now full of fear. Ministers argued louder than ever. Some wanted surrender. Some wanted to hide. Some wanted to burn worlds to erase proof. Selvar raised his hand, and the room fell quiet. He spoke slowly. Prepare the vault files. Open the forbidden history. If the Terrans return, then our lives are over. A minister shouted, we must strike first. We must kill the ship and all human traces. Selvar turned his eyes to him, and in that moment the minister felt small. You do not strike a storm. You survive it. Near the blue planet, the dreadnought sent a new message. Its voice was still calm, but now it carried weight like metal falling into deep water. Return what you stole, free what you chained, and leave. The message repeated 3 times, each time more direct, each time more final. Captains who still had power tried to answer. Some begged for mercy, some offered tribute, some blamed rival thrones. But the dreadnought did not reply to excuses. It only waited. Then the first Terran ships arrived. They did not appear with bright jump flashes. They emerged like shadows sliding out of darkness. Small compared to the ancient dreadnought, but still deadly. Sleek black hulls, dim blue lights, silent engines, like wolves returning to the pack. Throne crews watched them with horror, because these ships were not damaged relics. They looked ready, clean, maintained, alive. One throne captain whispered. How can they be new? How can humans still build? Commander Relka saw the truth. They were not new. They were sleeping too, hidden in deep space, waiting for the signal. More Terran ships arrived. Dozens, then hundreds, forming an escort around the dreadnought. Not attacking, not rushing, just taking position like soldiers who already know the end. Then a new voice joined the channel. Different from the dreadnought voice. Younger, human, but still cold. This is Terran Fleet Echo. All throne vessels power down and transmit prisoner records now. The command hit like thunder. Some ships obeyed instantly. Fear broke their pride. They shut down weapons. They sent data. They begged. But not every throne obeyed. A warlord from the Crimson Throne refused. He was famous for cruelty. He had prisons filled with chained species. And he held a secret prize. Human prisoners. He laughed on open channels. Humans are dead myths and ghosts. Your ship is one relic and your fleet is dust. I will not kneel. He ordered his remaining battleships to fire. Their weapons were weak but desperate. Beams and missiles launched toward the Terran ships. The Terran fleet did not dodge. It did not panic. It answered. A line of Terran destroyers released a wave of blue light. The wave moved like a silent breath. It touched the throne battleships. Their shields vanished instantly, as if they were never there. Then the dreadnought fired one precise pulse. Not the main cannon, a smaller weapon, but controlled. The pulse hit the warlord ship, and the ship split open like paper. Cut clean, no explosion, just separation. Front half drifting away from the back half. The warlord voice cut out mid-laugh. Every throne commander went silent. They finally understood. Humans were not fighting for fun. Humans were not showing off. Humans were ending the danger. Inside the dreadnought, the surviving boarding soldiers were dragged deeper. Captain Jessic was barely breathing. His heart felt like it was crushed by invisible hands. The ship did not kill him yet. It wanted him awake. He was taken to a chamber filled with frozen pods. Hundreds of pods, each holding a human. Men, women, even children. Faces pale, eyes closed, skin marked by chains. Captain Jessic broke inside. His voice whispered, "No, no, this is wrong." The dreadnought voice replied above him, "You kept them. You hid them. You used them. You call them extinct." The voice became sharper. "Now you will return them." Outside, the Terran Fleet Echo repeated the demand. "Transmit prisoner locations now." All thrones complied. One by one data streams came in. Secret prison moons, hidden labs, underground cages, and throne vaults filled with stolen Terran relics. Archon Selvar watched the truth spill into the open. He felt shame like poison in his throat. He knew the galaxy would never be the same, because humans were not asking politely anymore. The dreadnought turned toward the galactic core, toward the throne worlds, toward the great crown station itself. Every screen in every empire showed its movement. Slow, steady, unstoppable. And then the ancient ship sent one final line. A line that made even kings feel small. "We are not here to beg. We are here to correct." The Terran fleet followed behind it, like a storm following the eye of a god. And every galactic throne finally faced the same truth. Regret had become their new ruler. The ancient human dreadnought moved toward the galactic core, and the galaxy moved with it, not because they wanted to, but because fear pulled them like gravity. The broken throne fleets drifted behind, some ships still alive but powerless, some ships empty and silent. The proud armada that came to capture a relic was now a trail of shame. Commander Relka followed at long distance. Her patrol ship was small, but her eyes were wide with history. She watched Terran destroyers fly in perfect calm formation, silent like trained shadows. They guarded the dreadnought like loyal wolves guarding an old king. Across every throne world, citizens stared into the sky. They watched news feeds and emergency alerts. They heard old band words return. Terran, human, judgment. On Crown Station of Almora, Archon Selvar stood alone near the viewing window. Outside, his golden station looked peaceful, but inside it was panic and anger. Guards ran through halls. Ministers shouted, and rich families demanded escape ships. Silver did not run. He only opened the forbidden vault screen. The secret records of the first betrayal. He watched the files again. Human planets burning. Throne signatures on war orders. The true history. His voice became a whisper. We deserve this. The dreadnought arrived at the edge of the core system. The system where the great galactic throne station floated. A giant structure built like a crown of metal around a bright star. Its rings held cities. Its center held the rulers. Its guns were said to be unstoppable. The moment the dreadnought entered the system, the crown station guns powered up. Thousands of cannons aimed at it. The rulers screamed orders from their safe halls. Destroy it. Erase it. Save the thrones. But the crown station weapons did not fire. Their systems froze. Their targeting failed. Their power grids dropped to emergency levels. The entire station felt a cold silence spread through it, like a hand closing around its throat. Then the dreadnought spoke again, and this time the voice was different. It was not only a voice, it was a presence, a deep mind inside the machine. I am Sentinel of Terran Command. I am the last captain of the sleeping war. I remember everything. Every screen on the crown station turned red. Every throne world received the same live broadcast. Even private vault networks opened without permission. A human face appeared on the screens. Not a living face. A digital face, made from light and shadow. Eyes calm, old pain behind them, but controlled. The ministers screamed. It is an AI. The human face spoke calmly. You called us extinct, but you kept our people in cages. You stole our ships. You sold our children. You erased our names from the stars. The Hall of Rulers tried to cut the feed, but the feed stayed. The human face continued. This is not revenge. This is correction. A galaxy ruled by thrones always becomes a galaxy of chains. Then the broadcast changed, and the galaxy saw the prison moons, the hidden labs, the cages, the auction halls, the stolen Terran relics placed like trophies in royal rooms. Citizens across the galaxy began to scream, not in fear of humans, but in anger at their own rulers. Because the truth was too clear. The thrones were not protectors. They were thieves. On Crown Station, Selvar felt the weight of it all. His guards stared at him with hate, because he was a throne, and now everyone knew what thrones really were. The dreadnought moved closer. Its main cannon opened again. The red star inside it burned brighter than before. It aimed directly at the Crown Station center ring. One shot could break the throne forever. Throne rulers begged on open channels. We surrender. We surrender. We will give you anything. The Terran Captain AI answered. You already gave us something. A lesson. The galaxy held its breath. Commander Relka watched from far away. She felt the dreadnought could end the whole system now. And nobody could stop it. Not fleets. Not crowns. Not gods. The dreadnought fired. But the shot was not aimed to destroy. A wide wave of light moved forward. Soft. Silent. Like dawn. It passed through the Crown Station. And every weapon on the station shut down. Not broken. Just disabled. Every throne defense became harmless metal. The rulers fell to their knees. Because they realized they had been spared. Not forgiven. Just spared. The Terran Captain AI spoke again. You will step down. All thrones will dissolve. All chains will break. All prisoners will be returned. All stolen worlds will be freed. One ruler shouted. You cannot control the galaxy. The AI looked at him with cold pity. We are not controlling. We are removing the poison. Then Terran ships moved in, not to bomb cities, but to dock at prison ships, to rescue captives, to open cages, to heal survivors. Human soldiers entered the throne station. Their armor was dark. Their eyes were tired, but their hands were steady. They did not kill civilians. They only took the rulers. Archon Selvar stood and did not resist. He walked forward with his hands open. He spoke softly to the human guard. I know what we did. I know we deserve worse. The human guard looked at him, then said one sentence. We did not come back to be monsters like you. Selvar lowered his head. Shame cut deeper than any blade. The galaxy watched the fall of the thrones live. One by one crowns were removed. Flags burned. Slave markets shut down. Prison doors opened. And long-hidden species cried in freedom. Commander Relka received a private message. It was short. It came from the dreadnought itself. You were the first to witness. Tell the galaxy the truth. Never let them forget. Relka answered with shaking hands. I will. Far above the crown station, the ancient human dreadnought turned away. Its mission done, its silence returning, but not sleep. Before leaving, it sent one final public message to every star. Humanity is awake, and the Age of Thrones is over. And across the galaxy, every being understood. Regret was not the end. It was the beginning of a new world.